So the way I'm going to attack Donovan Mitchell is going his under assists. Donovan Mitchell is, hold on, let me just get my stats up. So no Darius Garland. But again, these two teams just played on Saturday in Orlando. And you know that whenever something happens in game one, I don't like to bet it again in game two. So when the Cavs won 119-105 last game, Donovan Mitchell had 9 assists on Saturday. Prop 6.5. Well, he's only averaging 5 assists per game at home without Darius Garland this year, going under in 70% of games. Orlando allows the 8th least assists per game as well. With Donovan Mitchell going over in the last game against a team that doesn't really allow a lot of assists, I'm going to go Donovan Mitchell under 6.5 assists. An underrated play, Orlando small forward Tristan Da Silva over 6.5 points. He only played 20 minutes Saturday, but had 0 points. And you know, if you don't play a certain player a certain way in game one, then usually you're going to change up the roles in game two. Prior to the last 2 games, Da Silva is averaging 8 points a game on the road, and he went over in 3 straight, 7, 13, and 14 points. So 3 of the last 5 went over 6.5 points, Da Silva, without Franz Wagner. Cleveland allows the 10th most points per game. Believe it or not, in the last 10 games, small forwards have gone over their points prop 60% of the time. And to Jared Block's point, yes, it is a great matchup for threes. Anthony Black, Desmond Bane. The problem is they both had good 3-point shooting performances on Saturday. So I will not be betting that again. Portland at Boston. Boston laying 8. Injuries. Denny Avdija is questionable with a back injury. And then both the Boston centers are questionable with an illness. These teams played on December 28th in Portland. The Blazers won 114-108. I really did want to like Derek White because Portland's not only allowing the 9th most points per game, overall, small forwards are hitting at a 57% clip over their points prop. But unfortunately, Derek White's props are like a point too high. He's averaging about 16 points a game against bottom 10 defenses. His prop was 17.5, so no Derek White for me. On the Portland side, I like a lot of props. Shaedon Sharpe under 22.5 points. He's only averaging 18 to 19 points a game this year against top 10 defenses. He also just went under. He just had a big game last game against Boston, and he's got under his points prop on the road in 58% of games. The Celtics allow the 3rd least points per game, with guards about 70% of the time going under their prop against the Celtics. Shaedon Sharpe had a good game last time. That doesn't happen much against Boston. This number is already too high, so we're going under on Shaedon Sharpe. Same thing goes for Donovan Clingan, who had a massive rebounding performance in the last game, 18 rebounds against Boston in December. This prop's 11.5. He's averaging about 10 rebounds a game against teams top 10 in rebounds allowed. The Celtics, they allow the 7th least rebounds per game. 79% of centers have gone under their rebound prop in the last 10 against Boston. So Clingan under 11.5 rebounds, that's not going to happen again with like that 18-point performance. No, thank you. Not happening. Sorry, just got a weird text. You guys, nothing of DJ. Jrue Holiday, great matchup for him. He's getting a terrible perimeter defense. The Celtics allow the 6th most threes per game. Jrue Holiday over 1.5 threes or over 11.5 points. Holiday this year in 6 matchups against bottom 10 perimeter defenses, averaging 3 threes a game and just between overall 18 points a game, but 21 points on the road. So you go over points, you go over his threes. I know his playing time hasn't been as much, but it's only a 1.5 3-point prop, which is pretty good. It's pretty juiced though, minus 145. So you could just go over on his points. Going between Luka and LeBron, these were the different, Holiday revenge on old team. I like Holiday. Luka and LeBron, here's how we're going to differentiate those two. They're up against the bad defense, the Bulls. They're bottom 10 in points allowed, bottom 10 in rebounds allowed. Luka over points, over assists, over PRA, or over points and rebounds. So against bottom 10 defenses, Luka's averaging 35 points a game, 37.5 on the road, averaging 10 assists against bottom 10 defenses. On the road with LeBron, Luka's gone over his PRA 70% of the time. His points and rebounds 60% of the time, his rebounds 60% of the time, and rebounds and assists 60% of the time. The problem is that Luka's rebound number is too high for me based on how he does against bottom 10 defenses. Normally it's his points and assists that pick up. So if you combine all of the different things of how he does with LeBron and all the bottom 10 defensive stats, points and you could combine the points and rebounds at least because the points should make up for it. But it's weird. With LeBron on the road this year, Luka's only gone over his points prop 30% of the time. So it's got to be combined with something. So PRA stood out the most to me because he's averaging PRA. He's actually PRA is the one I probably like the best for Luka, even though it's really freaking high, 49.5. But he's averaging 55 PRA on the road against bottom 10 defenses this year. So as for LeBron, you could look at over points, you could look at over assists, you could look at over points and assists because his points and assists, it's only hit 50% of the time, but his points is actually hit 60% of the time with Luka on the road. His points perhaps 22.5, and on the road against bottom 10 defenses, LeBron's averaging 23 points a game. His assist props only 6.5, and he's averaging 7 to 8 assists per game against bottom 10 defenses. Only hit 40% to the over with Luka though this year on the road. But the Bulls, they've actually allowed 57% of small forwards to go over their points prop against Chicago this year. 69% of power forwards and 56% of point guards went over their assist prop this year in the last 10 against the Bulls. So take with that what you may for separating those two between Luka and LeBron.